Okay, great. I want you to answer the question, so I'm just going straight to the point question. And I want you to answer it again because I can't see your response.
Well, okay. So for me, I think that the north star for me when it comes to measuring my life is ability to stay disciplined, because I've been able to identify discipline as one of the most important skills, because the world is changing a lot, and being able to be consistent in saying we are going to do this and staying true to that course has been so difficult in world today. And for me, what I've chosen to pick as my north star when it comes to measuring my life and knowing that I'm still on course has always been that single word: the ability to retain my discipline level across every single thing that I've committed to.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So, can you share with me your growing up? What is your growing up like?
I grew up as the son of a teacher. My father, used to be a math teacher, sometimes the biology teacher, and then academics was like the only way out for us. The son of the teacher, you have to be very sharp in your academics. And but when I got to the university, I started, measuring up from a CGP level. I wanted to have good grades. Then, I went to a public university, and then there were this strike that usually happened then, ASU strike. And I saw how, the lecturers that.
So, guys, before Lumide comes back live, I want to tell every one of us that we are unveiling JapaMetrics. JapaMetrics is media platform. It has a tripod, that's three legs. If you want to travel outside Nigeria, that is you want to Japa, this is a platform for you. Okay, I think Olumide, so uh, I will pause on, so before Olumide comes back, I was saying that we are unveiling JapaMetrics, a travel tech media platform. But I will pause on that speech, and I want Olumide to finish his talk. So you can go ahead, Olumide.
Okay. I was saying that, so I was the son of a teacher, uh, and then all the metric for success had always been, have good grades, be very good at academics, and which I wanted to. And then we had all this long strike. I think it was like 8 months ASU strike, and I saw that the best lecturers, the first class lecturers in our school, how they were suffering to make ends meet. And I thought to myself that this is not the kind of life that I want. And I looked at people that, out of those lecturers were still good. They were comfortable, and those were the people that doubled as entrepreneur. So they were entrepreneur and also a lecturer. And then I thought to myself that no, if this is the best of what I want to be, then I don't want to be that. So I immediately switched from trying to be great academically to trying to be wealthy. So, and I saw that the path to being wealthy is entrepreneurship. So I followed that path, and I didn't care about my grades anymore. so,
Yeah.
so that was my grade up. So when I was in when I finished the secondary school, I started learning to code. I had a mentor, Mr. Steven. He was the one that really helped me to see the world around technology and coding. So and ever since then, I didn't look back. Even though I studied mechanical engineering, I was just coding away my life, and I saw that I could build, I could use technology to solve the hardest problems.
That makes sense. That makes sense. For those of you that are going to be seeing this video, for those of you also watching that are going to be seeing this video, uh, Olumide is going to pick the name of the company. But if you have been using Cowrie card, maybe you are on BRT, ferry, most especially in Lagos. I know that they have extended to like two states. You will save more But most especially in Lagos, you you board PRT and all this ferry on water. You must have seen cowrie card. You are using cowrie card. Uh, these are the guys that are behind that innovation. They are the one making the lot of money in Lagos, and solving they are solving a critical problem, uh, so that people don't, most especially around micro micro, yeah, you know, it's microfinance, micropayment, something of less than or equivalent to $10 max. They are like demystifying the ecosystem when it comes to some of these uh, micropayment stuffs. But we'll get there. We'll get there in this week. I still want to know, uh, uh, when you were like growing up, will you say that Nigeria was fair to you in your growing up stage? Not now at present, but when you were growing up, so most like you stood in Nigeria from your primary to secondary to going to Lautech, that's your institution, study mechanical engineering, from home to school. Will you say like Nigeria was fair to
Well, we didn't know any other world apart from the world that we lived in. Uh, Nigeria was all we knew. Even though there was internet, it wasn't as revealing as this, where everybody can see that there are other possibilities. But this was like our universe. And my whole growing up, we just wanted to see how best we can make of this. So a lot of people see it as chaotic, people see it as different things, but some of us just see it as our world. And we don't understand whether it was fair or not, or it was just our world, and we just have to we just have to try and be the best where we
but
found
was it
ourselves.
actually, I'm hearing that word again second time from your mouth. I've had that word before now. But was it actually chaotic?
Yeah, I mean, so your chaos is when you are not certain of tomorrow, right? You're not certain of the next thing. And so for me, I feel like most Nigerians we say that, oh, Nigeria is kind of chaotic, but some of us see that from a positive side, that from a negative side, because we've seen a lot of people that were bread sellers and all of a sudden become wealthy or become super successful. That can only happen in a chaotic environment. In most non-chaotic environments, you have to climb the ladder. So people tell you where they will be in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, and they will become like that because they are climbing a ladder. But in Nigeria, it's so random that someone that you know that they had no chance can just become super successful overnight because of the chaotic environment. So I saw it that way, and I just feel like we just need to keep positioning ourselves in an environment where the raffle is happening, and maybe it can be our turn one of these days. So that's how I saw Nigeria.
But as of today, would you have preferred that as of today, would you have preferred that you are somewhere in one developed country abroad, or will you have preferred Nigeria?
Honestly, I'm a diehard fan of Nigeria. I love to travel abroad to enjoy holiday, learn, see how they develop their country and all of that. Almost every year I travel to a minimum of 2 or 3 countries, but I always want to come back home. And the reason is because um, um, there are two categories of people in the country that I've seen, and some people don't like the chaos. They want what do I call it? They want to see where they are going next. And there are some people that are like me that we don't care. We like the chaos. We don't want to see. We resign we resign a promising career so that we can live a life that is unassured. You know, not everybody is like that. Some people say, am I crazy? You know, if I climb the ladder in banking, I'll become the MD one day, or I will become so person one day. But some of us don't want that kind of life. So, unfortunately
Some
for me, unfortunately for my
people like
parents,
it easy. Some people
exactly,
like it easy, smooth, together.
exactly.
But
So, unfortunately for my
will you
parents,
say that? But Olumide, will you say that the other side is greener than Nigeria?
oh, well, I mean, so the way I look at it is that I look at people's different stories. I look at where they are coming from. America is how many years? Over 200 years old. And when they were 65 or 60, whatever, were they were they like this? The answer is largely yes. And we see some other countries that took independence the same time Nigeria took independence, like China, and they are rapidly competing in world economy as well. So green is relative. Green depends on how we see life. Um, in reality, some places are very serene, very nice, very calm, very enjoyable. And I will not lie. When I travel to UK or the US or all those places, I like it. It's greener in the sense of that. But yeah, so in that sense, it's very greener. But when it comes to opportunities, creating, you in Nigeria, you can come up with 10 ideas, and then you can, and those ideas can be 10-20 million dollar companies. In America, probably will struggle to come up with three, because out of your three self, maybe two has been done, you just don't know about it. So it's so developed, it's so shaped that it's very difficult to add more value, to the point that what are even going to become $1 billion are vanity businesses. Are businesses that are preying on people's vanity and not necessarily adding life values. They have gotten to that point, but we still have life problems in Nigeria. We still have infrastructure development issues. We still have a lot of those things, and that's why I'd rather be here than be there. But whenever I want to enjoy, I want to see that okay, life could be better. I like to go there.
I like the way you are balancing. I like the way you are balancing this conversation. You know, so Nigeria or US as at any time anyway.
Nigeria, Nigeria,
Nigeria,
Nigeria,
Nigeria or China.
and I'm not Nigeria, Nigeria. I'm not vying for
Are you
ambassadorship
kidding me? Are
position.
you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So so the blood really runs in your veins. The Nigerian blood really runs in your veins. I was so which country will you have chosen? Like I'm not going to, if you are like you are going to choose a country like maybe let's say outside Nigeria,
After Nigeria, I will choose the US.
the US, right?
Yes.
Because of course US is also quite very chaotic too, like Nigeria sometimes.
Yes. Exactly.
If you have
Exactly.
been to practice some of these states in US, and I see sometimes
Yeah.
where some of these guys, even the way they are so quite sometimes they will say that Nigerians are noisy. But sometimes when you look at most especially the Black Americans, the way they are so noisy, very chaotic, and even quite a lot of them very homeless. Homeless. You go to Florida, you see a lot of bandits. You see a lot. What are you in Adegunle or Akoko or whatever?
Some places are even worse than
There are
Ajekule.
quite there are quite places like that.
Yeah.
Actually, chances everywhere and everything like that. So now, uh, what is that one thing that you can tell an average young Nigerian that you talked about very synonymous? What is that one like a news? to see it, how to see these opportunities or connect to opportunities right in Nigeria. Because don't forget, you said this is a country that you might not even know what's going to happen in the next 1 week, 2 weeks, the
Yeah,
next 1 year. Your uncertainty is quite much, but you have been there. You've lived almost all your life in this country, apart from you go on vacationing outside Nigeria.
yeah,
What is that one thing you can assurance to a young guy like listening to you or is going to listening to you that these are the way to get these opportunities in this country, Nigeria?
yeah. So, despite what everybody hears, there are there are so many people, and there are so many stories like ours where people that don't know anybody, they don't know anybody, they are not the son of anybody, but because they built value, they rise to places in Nigeria. And if a lot of people want to be very sincere, you will see those patterns everywhere, where you see the Mr. Banwo of this world, the Banwo and the Godalo, the Mr. Banwo, and the Sonwolus, the different people that they are not really. It wasn't like, oh, they are sons of Dangote or sons of Dantata or son of anybody, but they were just there adding value in their own corner. And when the opportunity were there, they just swap. So what I would tell majority of Nigerians is that a lot of people that will feel that they are put a pedal, the foot of their brake on, they put a foot of the brake in the development of this country. A lot of them are dying. A lot of them are leaving. They are retiring. It is our turn now. But the question to us is that when we now take over that driver's seat of this country, are we not going to drive this country to Atlantic Ocean? It's not going to be worse because we've refused to train ourselves, refused to understand basic things, because we refuse to read a holy scroll on IG, on Twitter, to develop ourselves to the point where so so we need to keep putting ourselves, developing ourselves, and putting ourselves in the face of this chaos so that opportunities can bubble us up, and then we can be there. I've visited different parastatals recently, and I've seen the amount of young people that are there controlling those parastatals. And these things are not, we don't talk about these things a lot anymore, because we still live with that stereotype in our head that it is the 80-year-old people, the grandfathers, that are still ruling us in this country. Gradually, the power is being handed over to us, but our people are messing it up. But our people have also failed to see it. So the opportunity is coming to us now. We are 18 to 35, we are the largest population of the country. Some of us have started being ceding, they've ceded power to us. And I'm just scared that when we finally hold that power, we are not going to make it worse than the fathers that we have demonized.
Yeah, yeah. Have you written a book? Have you authored a book before?
No, I'm still trying to make money so that people can read my book. Because people don't read, they don't read the book of people that are not successful.
Interesting. Maybe when you are 50, when you are
Exactly.
50, yeah. But so you put it in your archive so that you don't forget that when I'm 50 years, I'm going to
I will release it.
launch
I'll publish
or
it.
yeah.
Yes.
Uh, now, the men who built America, the men who
Yes.
built America, say you are among the men who are building Nigeria.
Yeah.
Did you get the question?
No, I didn't get it.
So we have the men
I didn't get the question.
in America. Will you
Yeah.
yourself as part of those men today that are building Nigeria?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so because our focus, or my focus, has always been picking a sector and transforming that sector completely. And the sector that we have looked at, just like JP Morgan, had impact in electricity with investment is Edison and buying Carnegie's kits still eventually. My own sector has been that if we transform the transportation sector of the country, it is the mover of the economy. And there's a lot of opportunity in that sector in transforming it. So, and that's where we have, focused on. So right now we are in about 7 states, doing it one state to another. Lagos, Ogun,
Seven
or
states.
your,
Seven states.
yes, yes.
Can you mention those states?
Lagos State, Ogun State, Oyo State, Enugu State, Abuja, and recently Abia State.
Wow, that is great. You do you have competitors?
I mean, I think I wouldn't say we don't. I wouldn't say we don't. I know that we have a lot of people, but we've just been fortunate to that they have not surmounted us. They are not big enough to surmount us yet. But I know that we are.
So so someone that the guys that are not close to you that might have been saying what you guys are doing, I want to ask that how did you penetrate politicians? How did you penetrate the government to like be like unopposed?
Well, so the simple word there is value. And if you look at the demography of the state that I've mentioned, they are not one political party. Like people would think, Abia State is Labour Party. Enugu used to be PDP before they moved to APC now, and some of them are APC. Oyo State is even PDP. So it has nothing to really do with politics or they know people in APC or they know people in PDP or whatever. What we can all agree to, whether I'm an APC member, LP member, ADC member, I will still use Dangote. I'll still use Dangote cement to build my house because there is value there. So it's the same thing here that when you build value, people will come to you and use you regardless of whether you know this person, you know this person. What knowing people and building good relationship then help with is oiling the relationship. It's when you are in trouble, yeah, you have people that you can call and they can get you out of those troubles. Or when you need to get somewhere higher, then you can. But you need to. The fundamental thing is that you need to have value, and the value that is undisputable, value that everybody can agree to that. Okay, there is value here, and people don't care about division. Whether I'm Christian or Muslim or Hausa, Igbo, I'll still eat and I'll still use Dangote cement. I don't care whether Dangote is a Muslim or a Christian at that point. So, and those are the fundamental things that people need to understand. That value is very critical. Then every other thing they are just on the side.
How did you meet your co-founder?
So, Michael, we attended OAU, and my childhood friend also attended OAU. And when I leave Lautech, that's where I hang out, OAU. And so we all came together and did a competition. It was called Microsoft Imagine Cup. So Microsoft Imagine Cup is like the World Cup of software. No, we have World Cup of soccer. So that was like the World Cup of software then. So we build a solution and then we showcase it. And if the best solution will then represent the country in the world final, which could be anywhere in the world. So we've been we tried twice before we eventually won and got the chance to represent Nigeria in Russia. Even though we didn't win when we got to Russia. But,
I hope the war in Russia has not started there.
No, it hasn't. This was in 2012. I think 2011, 2012. And then we came back with a lot of experience, understanding that
you guys have started way back.
I started coding in 2006. 2006 was when I started to code. So it's been a while.
Wow. some people will still think that this is a young guy that just started maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. They will not know that this journey has way back, way
It's
back.
always it's always the best story to tell. When overnight
Yeah,
success is a sweeter story than showing people that they have to do the work.
yeah. It also means that there is no accidental success. There is nothing like accidental arrival. It has to be like a gradual process. You grow
Yeah.
into it over time. So that means you and Michael have been together like since like 2011.
Yeah, since 2009, 2010 ish. Yeah, yeah,
And I've seen quite a number of young guys that have co-founded uh, startups, and like 2 3 years something just came out. They fought something they could not just. Sometimes I look at this news and I like, what's happening here? Is this guy do not really themselves because they say they are coming together or things like that? Of course, I've also tasted it too. I tasted it of startups and all those things. How have you been managing, or how both of you been managing relationship?
yeah. I mean, people grow apart, but for us, I my dad always tell me that there are two things we should not fight over. We should not fight over money and position. that, but the most important thing is that I think we are well aligned on the problem that we are all trying to solve. And that has been the magnet. So we have disagreement on so many ways to solve the same problem, but as long as we all both agree on the problem, we can always find a synergy. Yeah. So far that has really been hit. I'm sure he's tolerating me one way, and I'm sure I'm tolerating him in another way. But we feel like that's how relationship goes. You tolerate each other excesses, and then just always find that agreement. That brought you together in the first instance. That let's solve this problem, and maybe when the problem is fully solved, everybody can go their separate ways. But as long as this problem is not solved, he's stuck with me, and I'm stuck with him.
That's it. But do you have a at a point? Do you have a time that money is maybe money is almost costing like you are like two of you are feeling like you might you might separate and like money is costing a lot of risks between the two of you. Is there any time like that? If there is
I
time
don't,
like that,
no, I don't really think that there was any time when we have money issues. In fact, there have been conversations where he's handling some things I don't even know anything about it, and he will just bring it to the table. And there have been conversations where, because I like to believe that we are not materialistic, and I think that is what has really helped when it comes to dealing with money. However, agreeing on ideas and direction is always a problem. Where okay, we have this idea, this is how we should implement this. No, what if this problem happen? Let's implement it this way. So we have all those issues here and there, but has never been to the point of breaking away or saying that we are neglecting our dreams, so we are not doing this again.
okay, yeah. Just go ahead. Just go ahead. I'm back.
Yeah. So I mean, I explained everything that we don't it doesn't. So we disagree on methods, but not on things like money or stuff like that. But at the end of the day, because it's our method, we always figure out a way to realign, and I agree.
What's happening here? Olumide, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay, great. I think the network went bad. Still, I'm still very much interested because on this issue of uh, where do you on this issue of co-founder, where do you see yourself, the two of you, in the next 10 years?
Maybe we'll be in front of Times Magazine as the people that have solved transportation and logistic problem in Africa. from from a financing perspective, using technology and finance to solve
But but
that problem.
but oh, okay. Okay, because I wanted to ask that which sector do you think, are you like a fintech, or you are a logistic tech,
Like
uh,
fintech.
or the mix, or the
Currently we are fintech. We are fintech, and then we are looking at the problem. So because there's so many fintech that have solved some problems. For example, I don't want to solve the problem that MoneyPoint have solved, and I don't want to solve the problem that HopePay has solved. So we are looking at sectors that have opportunities. Because if there's no problem somewhere, how am I shooting here there? There are so many other places that solve problem and create value. So, but we know that the transport space is still, there's still a lot of opportunities there, because it's not where it should be. We've been to Dubai, we've been to New York, we've been to London, and we see how very organized the transport sector is, and we are far from there when it comes to Nigeria. And we want to see how we can help shape that industry with finance and technology. So that's what we're
great,
doing now.
great. You guys are still playing in the blue ocean. How are you
Yes.
guys preparing yourself for the red ocean? For the red ocean?
Yeah, so with relationships, with relationships. So, and if you look at the men who built America, they became king of their sector not because they were very good, but because they could manage relationship very well. And we could see someone else that could manage relationship very well in Nigeria as well, Dangote, Dollar, and all these people. And Tony Elumelu, they remain king of those sectors that they play in because they maintain good relationships with the regulators, the stakeholders, everybody that are key there. So and when you do that enough, for example, in the US today, you cannot, if you bring in a BYD into the US, you can't register it. It's not possible. They won't allow you to register your BYD, at least for now, because of
Yeah,
whatever relationship Elon Musk have built with the country. So at the end of the day, that's how we secure our blue ocean, to make sure that it doesn't turn red. As long as we are we are doing all the right things that we're supposed to do in making sure that we keep adding value.
great. I think for me, I like that. Relationship is core. Relationship is key. Relationship is very paramount. Uh, there is no way. You mentioned three kings. Let me call them kings. The Dangote,
Yes.
Dollar, and Tony Elumelu. If
Yeah.
there's one thing these guys are gotten right, monopolizing uh, maybe the sector they are playing in is because of relationship.
Yeah.
They are not biased, they are not sentimental, they are not
Yeah.
unnecessary getting themselves involved in unnecessary arguments
Yeah.
or siding one side of the political side or another side of the political side. These are guys that are very, very focused. And
Yes.
focus helps to water the type of relationship that you think that you need going forward. It is very,
Yeah.
very important. Reading it lines and listening attentively to minutest details. Conversations
Exactly.
like this is very, very important. These are not motivations. These are something that are practical, that real people do every day. They water relationship, they nurture their relationship, and they weed unnecessary things that are not going to take them from where they are now to the next level. And this is very, very germane, most especially for startups, people that are just starting out. For those of you that are struggling in business, and you think Nigeria is one of the worst country in the world, uh, these guys are smashing it. They are killing it. They are creating those opportunities. It's easier to create opportunities in countries like Nigeria, Pakistan, India of this world than in Canada, US, UK of this world. Very, very developing country give a lot of opportunities, problems to solve. And it's just about understanding how things work. How you understand how these things work is listening carefully, attentively to conversations like this. Olumide, if there's one thing that want Nigerian government to stop one thing, just one thing, in the next 30 days. What would that thing be?
So honestly, I'm one of the people that believe that social media should be censored.
People, yeah, people will call you out. Maybe you will go viral with this. A lot of people will not agree with you on this.
They should hear me. They should hear me out. I feel that that thing has become like an opium, a drug
I totally
that
agree with you. I totally agree with you. You can imagine conversations like this, how it will have been so helpful, very helpful to millions of Nigerians, both young
yeah,
and old, and a lot of noise keep going on social media today, distracting people,
exactly.
not making them to be focused.
Yeah.
All these things, I totally agree with you, but finish your thought.
Yeah. So because if you look at me, I like to compare Nigeria to a country like China because they have the population, we have the population, and than to a country like America. America is old and it has a lot of, now what differentiates China from Nigeria is their excellent work ethic. And I feel like one of the ways that they could get there was because they have their own social media, they have their own all of these things, and the government have a hold on, you know, um, making sure citizens understand some basic things. So if we can have a system that provide less distraction from our youth and let us focus on the right thing, knowing that that's the resources that we have to really fix this country and export to the other countries like other African countries or the rest of the world. I think that we will we will get there because when you open social media, half of the things are vanity. They are not things that really had value. Don't get me wrong, some things there had values, and those are the reasons why I'm saying that censored, like filter out those things that don't have value. I'm not saying ban it. I'm not saying do away with it or whatever it is. I'm just saying censor it to a point where it can be an educational tool. Because what we really need in Nigeria is growth. We don't need all these distractions. All these talks about things that are cause brain dead. And those are the things we celebrate. Those are the things that we see in the country, and I don't see us moving forward with all of that. So the government, I don't believe that the government are the ones that are going to build the country. Look at the men who built America; they are entrepreneurs. It wasn't the Nixons or the Kennedys of this world. They are just there to make policy. The people that are going to build the countries are you and I. And if we can have millions of us, the country will grow very fast. But if the millions of us are distracted with reels and TikToks of vanity stuff, we don't have the time to do the work to build the country. At the end of the day, we are going to self-destruct. So that's the
Okay.
reason why I'm saying that.
Yeah, sorry. See, I'm queuing behind you. I don't know. Maybe you are right, but I'm queuing behind you. Uh, because that has been, if there's something that worries me the most in this part of the world, is that same thing that you have said. You know, and if care is not taken, it's also picking up even people like us attention.
Yeah,
This day, TikTok, my Facebook, my X, and these are the guys I see. And gone are those days that the algorithm will just think even the type of people I want to see, but these days they are everywhere. And, and
yes,
the two things entrepreneurs are not also being out there, maybe in terms of PR, in terms of the way guys that are just disturbing the space. Good thing entrepreneurs are too conservative, they are too introvert, and
yeah.
they are not doing much to also take up the space too. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that's one of the problems that, like you mentioned the last time we spoke, we need we need people really coming out to tell the stories,
Mm.
and the Nigerian for Nigerian stories, not just we reading about things happening in different climes, but understanding how Otedola was able to come from nothing. Well, people don't argue. People feel like he was the son of the governor, but but he built something beyond his dad, and different people like Mr. Femi, different great men coming out to really tell stories, like Philip Consulting. No, nobody knew he was a Nigerian.
Yeah.
So having those kind of people come out and really talk will really, really help us, and we don't have enough of that.
Do you also think that Nigerian entrepreneurs are collaborating enough?
I don't think so. I don't think we are collaborating enough at all, and that is a very big problem, because we have it's one of the, I dare to say that it's one of the reasons why the whites have a higher chance of succeeding than we blacks generally everywhere in the world. Uh, they know how to collaborate more than we blacks. Blacks, we are more of a lone warrior. We don't trust our brothers. Look at I like to say that tribalism is even worse than racism. Within Nigeria, there is even tribal war still today, till 2026. That there's supposed to be somebody will say, "I'm Igbo, I'm Hausa, I'm this and that." At the end of the day, so and on those little notions and bases, we don't have the right kind of collaboration that is supposed to make our business grow.
So how do you think that problem can be solved?
So for me, I feel that um, because we have allowed. I'm being careful not to make another controversial statement. So we've allowed certain systems to permeate us, to distract us from what is most important. This is the analogy that I like to use. I believe that the war that everybody should fight is a class war. It's not a war of, whether I'm a Christian, I'm Igbo, I'm Yoruba, or I'm any of these things. It's the fact that what qualifies Dangote or Abatwigwe or Tedola to be rich, that does not qualify me to be rich. And what can I start doing? What system enables them? And how can that system enable me than to be fighting all these, tribal? And the reason is that if you look at up there, up the ladder, there's no division in religion. There's no division in ethnicity. All of them collaborated. It was when the former MD of Access Bank, Abatwigwe, died, that I understood that in the concept of Nigeria. When the former Emir, Lamido, was crying and calling him one of his best friends. Dangote was crying. He's an Igbo man. He's a Christian. These are Muslims. They have no reason to have had that level of mix. And they all called him a great guy. So you see that up there is nothing like that division. But at the bottom, instead of us to work together, and grow, we keep fighting, we keep allowing all these news and all these funny stories to distract us, when in reality, the people at the top of the pyramid are collaborating a lot, and they are so once we can see the word for that, I think that we understand that sometimes these things are deliberately created. The system is created to distract us from challenging the status quo.
You are right. You are very much right. I will say, maybe off the camera, I will still engage you more in that conversation. Uh, how do you see the future of AI, most especially for Nigeria and Africa?
Well, I believe that Nigeria leapfrogged. We didn't use walkie-talkie. We used land phone, but not to the longest, and we just jumped to GSM. And AI is something that I feel like we are going to leapfrog as well, jump into, and we are going to use it to change a lot of things. My whole little concern about AI is that for a not productive country like us, well, we are productive, but when I say unproductive, I mean relatively to the rest of the world. We Very few people will take advantage of that AI and build an immense amount of wealth for themselves, and it may leave a lot of people stranded. People not having jobs, people not, because you can start using AI agents to manage everything that they're supposed to do, and the rest of people are just on to a great man that makes so much money and just give dash people money. because they need to be productive. So to prevent that kind of world, we really need to be strategic in the way we apply it. We need to really kind of regulate it. Otherwise, it's going to kind of create some chaos when people wake up to it. A lot of things are happening right now and people don't understand. For example, you can generate very beautiful music with AI. You can write programs with AI code. You can generate graphics design with AI. And but people have not started saying it. In another 2 years, people will see the amount of job that AI has really taken, and that is when uh, we will now start playing catch up. But I feel that Nigeria should be a country that is self aware and figure out a way to mitigate this problem before it starts.
Yeah. So like what you are saying is that so it's like you are seeing Nigerians or Africans as more of consuming AI rather than doing something very serious with AI. Is that the idea as of today?
I feel like a handful of people will use it in Nigeria and they will create a lot of wealth for themselves. But my fear is that where that will leave the rest of the population. And I feel that the country needs to look at it and not play catch up and be involved in directing the implementation of that technology so that it doesn't plunge us into super wealth and super poverty. So we can have a middle gap.
Yeah. Let me quickly ask you this question. I've seen a lot of startups shutting down.
Yeah.
Even some startups we raise money like 6 months before, 6 months after they say they are shutting down and whatever. Will you, if something goes bad, God forbid, uh will you with will you rather shut down or pivot?
So because I believe fundamentally in a principle of when you put your leg inside water, you don't put one leg out. You have to figure it out. You have to always keep moving. Um, for me, I believe that except it is something that is not that's the best way out is to shut down. We will keep finding a way. But of course, I also understand that there are some situations that could be really, really bad and will require the company to wind down. But for me, I will rather pivot right now from where we stand than shut down completely. But like I said, it depends on the situation.
Yes, I like that. I think we share the same school of thought. Uh, pivoting, because I was almost asking you that if AI takes you and I out of business,
Yeah.
uh, will you will you go back to your village, or, or you are going to move with AI?
We are already looking for ways to use AI to disrupt ourselves. So we are going to work together with AI to make it work.
Yeah, yeah. Briefly tell me your journey to Y Combinator.
Okay, so we've known about YC from 2 years into our entrepreneurship journey, and it's like it used to be like, well, I think it's still an aspirational accelerator for any serious-minded entrepreneur. Then, and we tried it the first time. They asked us to come to San Francisco. We went. They rejected us. So we tried the second time. They rejected us, and we just felt like, you know what? Not every successful startup went to IC. So let's just start building our business. We started building our business, and my co-founder was submitting updates to IC. And the CEO of YC himself just called us one day and said, "What? You guys have grown so much. We need you to come and join YC." And That was how we got admitted into YC. So, and then and then ever since then, we are part of the YC family and all of that. So one of the lessons that I learned from there is that sometimes it's not about chasing the rabbit. It's about planting the carrot and letting the rabbit come. Um, it's a lot easier that way than to start chasing three different rabbits.
I think I was not as lucky as Olumide. I was on my way to Turkey. I was in the plane when I received the call of the CEO of Y Combinator uh, and for an interview.
So for the audience, it's a great honor to be on this call uh, with Mr. Bankole and the team. It's so unfortunate that we lost him, but we would like to do this again, and I hope that the conversation sparks some interesting insights for the audience. Thanks a lot for having me, and it's a pleasure. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.